You are listening to the Beaverton, North America's trusted source of news.
This week on the Beaverton, Ottawa is asking Canadians what they want to see in the fall budget. Also, if they have a sec, could they please write the fall budget? Pierre Poilievre says Mark Carney continuing to own an investment portfolio while PM is unethical. When he gets elected, he promised to sell his portfolio of Dogecoin, Fartcoin, and a set of commemorative coins honoring the people who beat up union members during the Winnipeg General Strike. And economists surprised after inflation jumped up in June, even though going up is one of only two things inflation can do, so the odds are pretty much 50-50. That's right, it's time to make fun of the news once again on the Beaverton Weekly Report. Welcome to the show, everyone. So glad you are tuning in. I'm your host, Luke Ornfield. Thrilled to be with you guys as always. Thank you for tuning in to our super hot, super air conditioning free summer episodes as we all sweat out the jokes. We'll put out a video so you can just see how progressively sweaty me and Ian get over the course of these episodes.
I'm so Scottish, Luke. I'm so Scottish and sweaty.
But yeah, we're thrilled to be here. Just a little programming note. We have about, I think, 3 episodes left until we take a little August hiatus, and then we'll be back post Labor Day and going all through the fall. Now, if you've been with us since 2018 and have heard us say the words "we'll be back in a few weeks" and then disappear for 6.5 years, and you're worried that I'm lying to you right now, fair.
Don't worry, podcast listeners. We're just going out for smokes, and we'll be right back.
Fair, but I promise you we are going to come back. And if we don't, you have to respect our commitment to this bit. If we come back in another 6.5 years, you have to keep listening and stay subscribed. But yes, anyways, thank you for listening. And joining me this week, 3 of our regular panelists who, like all Manosphere podcasters, came out this week and said they regretted their earlier support for Trump. Ian MacIntyre, Clare Blackwood, Megan MacKay, welcome, all of you.
Thank you. I ripped my t-shirt off, too, in anger.
I just thought he seemed like a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a credulous idiot.
A sweaty, credulous idiot.
That goes without saying. You're right, Claire.
The Andrew Schultz quip, for those who don't follow like the Manosphere podcast, but there's a comedian, I guess, podcaster named Andrew Schultz who has a podcast called Flagrant, and he played the whole like Epstein thing and then was immediately like, so I guess we're the idiots? And it's like, yes. Thank you for realizing it. We will dive into all that, of course, but we want to begin at home. We begin in the Wildrose province, where a by-election is going on featuring a young, fresh-faced politician named Pierre Poilievre or something like that. I don't know. Pierre Poilievre's by-election is in full bloom. I don't know. Anyways, it takes place August 18th, so where the campaign is going on right now. It is in a riding in Alberta that is one of the biggest geographical ridings in all of Canada. It's 53,000 kilometers. The current MP, or I guess former, because he stepped down, Conservative candidate Damien Kurek got in the last election 82.8% of the vote, which was actually worse than he did in 2019.
What were his numbers in 2019?
He was like 84% of the vote.
110% of the vote.
So the assumption is Poilievre is about to win in a landslide, but there's an independent candidate, Bonnie Critchley, who came out and said she thinks he's not going to win, or if he does, it's going to be not by much. How do you guys think this election is going to go? If he loses, he has to step down, right? I mean, there's no other possibility if he loses this by-election.
I am absolutely not convinced that if he loses, Pierre Poilievre is going to, like, not hide in the ceiling of Parliament like the Phantom of the Opera and kind of just like whisper into the ear of his the next leader, how to create 3-word slogans.
Just a note descends from the rafters. It's like,
Christy.
Call Carney a cuck. All right.
Poilievre has big cape energy. I can see that.
Oh, yeah.
That guy would love a cape.
Like a really, really loser tuxedo mask from Sailor Moon.
Oh, yeah. That sucks that that's so, like, clear in my mind now. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
But like in a cowboy hat.
He almost has a cowboy hat. I guess it's a top hat, tuxedo mask.
Yeah. So it's just a white, pristine cowboy hat that he might be wearing incorrectly.
I mean, if he loses, that's like the greatest day of Andrew Scheer's life, bar none, right? Like, he's got to be in a Disney musical montage the next day, just like the most like Catholic birds you've ever seen, tying his shoes, like skipping down the street, like
chugging milk.
Yes, he's gonna be so happy if that happens.
Popping bottles of milk.
The one dimple just going so big. It's a nice feature. I'm just saying, he's got one dimple. It's a good look.
I think that if he's going to be parachuted into Alberta, I personally think that there needs to be like a set of challenges that he needs to face in order to become leader. Like he has, like kind of like Hercules in the 12 tasks.
The laborers, yeah.
Yeah, he has to like rope 10 steers or something like that to prove that he really.
Yeah, that looks like his vibe.
I'm saying if he wants to represent them, he needs to be one of them. And it's been a long time since he lived in Alberta.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I love that. As soon as he settled on Battle River Crowfoot which I think is the name of the running for the by-election, that he was immediately like, my hometown, Calgary, like being like, I'm from Alberta originally, which I think was just like he lived there for a couple years with his dad.
No, I think he was there for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like grew up there, yeah.
Yeah, he got adopted and he grew up there, and yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But he hasn't been there since, I think, 2000 or something like that.
Yeah, he refuses to go back.
Yeah.
I mean, I like your idea of like roping steer. I would settle for him like just knowing basic terminology. Like he is such a like little nebbish right-wing edgelord that imagining him talking to cowboys and farmers is so inherently funny. Like just him talking to a guy who's like concerned about the price of cattle, being like, "Have you seen the latest Tim Pool video or something?" Is so it's so wonderful to imagine.
So what Bitcoin are you invested in?
He's gonna try that thing where he like smugly eats an apple and is just gonna immediately get gored by a bull.
It just turns into Jackass, full Jackass. Hi, I'm Pierre Poilievre, and this is Jackass. Anyways.
It's a good front-facing video for him to do. I was going to say, I think it's super funny that the election's on August the 18th, so he's going to be competing with Nobody 2 at the box office, that Bob Odenkirk movie, which is also a movie about an angry little wiener who's fighting everybody he sees.
Well, hopefully Bob Odenkirk doesn't have a heart attack and almost die this time. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I mean, we want that for Bob Odenkirk just to survive, period. But yeah.
I was unaware they were making a sequel to that movie, so thanks for that.
That movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I've seen the scene on the bus that I think went pretty viral.
Yeah.
It's the scene.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I think everybody's first thought when the date came out for the by-election was, oh no, the same day as Nobody.
Yeah, Poilievre tried to get it moved.
How deep into your Google of what's happening August 18th, 2025?
He tried to make it step down as well. Wait, he could take its place.
I'm sensing you guys don't already have your first day tickets for Nobody 2. I'm the only one here.
Oh no.
I have a voucher. I'm waiting.
Good.
Yeah.
You can already buy tickets for the Nolan Odysseus a year out. But you can't get Nobody 2 tickets yet. They've decided it's still too early. I mean, it's for the like super IMAX screenings that there's only like four like screens of in all of like the United States.
Oh,
it's like
sure.
The super expensive, super elite tickets. You can buy that for Nolan's Odysseus, but like also it's Christopher Nolan and people obsess over his movies. So.
Hey guys, book's been out for a while.
No spoilers.
Give that a quick read before you buy it. Movie tickets, you're out.
Famously breezy read, The Odyssey.
This is such a non sequitur, but do you guys? There was some, and it went viral recently, but there was some. I saw. I think it was called Angel Eyes. Some Jennifer Lopez movie, where the guy who ends up being abusive when they're dating gives her a first edition copy of The Odyssey, and no one from producers up to studio heads flagged that like, hey, this is famously an epic poem.
Oh, I choose to think that everyone in the props department flagged it and hated the production and was we're not saying anything.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brutal.
That's just one of those great like forget the like Starbucks coffee cup of Game of Thrones. That's the best anachronism in any movie that I've ever seen. Turning back to our buddy Pierre.
Oh, wait, what?
I mean, so obviously, like, the joke of, like, what if he loses is so fun. Despite a random independent candidate saying he's going to lose. I mean, of course, the assumption is he's going to win.
I do want to mention that independent candidate, because I actually heard an interview with Bonnie Crishley on CBC yesterday. Mm-hmm. And oh boy, real independent candidate kind of vibes. Oh, she had this canned line that was like, Pierre must like straws because he's grasping at them, and repeated it like no fewer than 3 times. And I was like, can I write to your campaign and just write you some better talking points?
Yeah.
We're just going to farm you out as a campaign writer.
It's like a charity thing to do. Or like community service.
He must love cowboy boots because he's going to get booted out of the competition.
That was pretty good.
Oh.
That was actually pretty good.
That's a step up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why does she think he's gonna? Did she give like a reason, or is she just like, I
You
feel
gotta be
it?
confident.
I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I mean,
Fair.
and she had other good points. Like, she's clearly an intelligent person who was like, hey, he lost his election in Carleton because he was never there and the people didn't like him, and he's never set foot in this riding. Maybe we shouldn't vote for
Yeah.
him.
Is he even campaigning there? Like, I haven't heard a single thing about him actively courting.
There's a new season of Rick and Morty, and he's been real preoccupied.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me.
I mean, I think he was in Calgary for Stampede,
Yeah.
which we're going to talk about in a second, and I think there was. I think he has visited the riding and has campaigned. Do I think he's there every day, going door to door and meeting the locals and actually trying to win hearts and minds? Absolutely not.
He doesn't
But
need
I
to.
genuinely don't really, other than filming the front-facing videos, I don't really know what he's been doing since
No.
he lost his seat. Like, obviously, he did a couple like guest appearances in Parliament where he opened and got his like $10 and a drink ticket for with his visitor's pass, giving press conferences. But that I think was so embarrassing that he kind of stopped doing that.
Yeah.
And I remember
It
because
really
we had
was.
so much fun with it. Everyone,
Yeah.
like the fact that he had to get a visitor's pass, it was so funny.
We stopped him, yes.
Yeah. It was our yes, the power of our podcast and our viral clip about that. But but I mean, I think he must have realized, okay, this is
too
so
much.
embarrassing. Then he put out a couple videos online, and then I remember before he popped up at Stampede, there were several articles I saw written about like the absence of Pierre. Canadians should enjoy this brief moment of respite
And
without
we
Pierre
did.
Poilievre. And we did. And the Blue Jays started winning, and the birds were chirping.
Oh my God,
and
is
life
that
was
why
good.
we lost our last two games?
Yes.
Because he's oh man, somebody's got to. I should
Yeah.
say
Candyman
that.
rules. Someone said his name too many times into a mirror.
Yeah.
There's so many horror characters that have that rule.
Yeah.
Like, there's Beetlejuice, there's Bloody Mary, there's Candyman. It's a lot. Anyways,
He's not nearly interesting enough to be Beetlejuice.
I would vote for Beetlejuice.
Yeah. It'd be interesting.
That'd be something.
I mean, he doesn't have a great platform, does he? Just kind of being gross is kind of it, right? That's
But
it.
at least it's clear.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
two words.
Succinct, right?
Be gross. Yeah, I get it. Okay. Be gross.
and marry a teenager.
Yeah, well, that is
Oh, no.
be gross is the umbrella statement above.
You're right. It's not a new point. It's a sub point.
No.
You're
Oh,
right.
he
You're right.
would
Yeah.
run on like lowering the age of consent, wouldn't he?
But just for him, if that's better, I don't know. Probably not. Anyways, before we get in more trouble,
How long should I stand by this bet? Oh no.
yeah, let's defend the actor who played the stepdad in that.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He did some bad things. That's why he wasn't in the sequel and why a shark bit off his head. Anyways,
Rooney.
Yeah. What was that character's name?
Jeffrey Jones. He played Principal Rooney in Ferris Bueller.
Oh, in Ferris Bueller. I was like, oh, yeah. Anyways, well, let's stick with Alberta because I want to talk about the province as a whole. There is a lot to cover. The one thing that's getting covered is Albertan children skinned with measles. How's that for a segue? They currently have more measles cases than all of the United States combined. So now when people are like, oh, Alberta, it's just like an American state or a Republican state, no, it's apparently worse when it comes to the whole anti-vax thing.
Yeah, and people were like, oh, so like more per capita. And it's like, no. More. Than
No.
the country of the United
Yeah,
States.
they've had
They're
1,314 cases since March. Sorry,
Yeah.
Claire.
Oh no, I was just gonna say they're making Alberta great again. Greater than the states. I was looking at I was looking at Alberta news the other day, and it was like talking about the measles and it was talking about the stampede, and I never thought that I would actually type in the words to Google, "Can cows get measles?" But they can't apparently, so that's nice. I was just like, oh, those poor cows.
Yeah, they get them, but they're called moozles.
Oof.
God damn it.
Yikes.
Am I fired?
I don't even have the power to fire you, and you're fired. Get out.
Go watch Nobody 2. Anyways,
It sounds like a slur. Go nobody to yourself, Ian.
go Odenkirk your Bob.
I deserve that.
That's the thing is like this is all before the super spreader event that is Calgary Stampede, and I was unaware of this. I mean, obviously, like everyone, I'm vaccinated. I made sure my kids are vaccinated, but not like everyone apparently, but like most people. But like measles is the most infectious disease. It has like an R of like 28 or something like this. So if you have measles, you infect 28 to 30 people on average. Which is insane. Like COVID was like 2 to 3. One of the variants, like Omicron, that everyone was freaking out about, was like 9 to 10. So this is if you do not have herd immunity, which, by the way, we buried the lead a little bit, or I have, Alberta has fallen below the threshold for herd immunity. They no longer have herd immunity.
And they're a province that knows about herds. That's their thing.
So much cattle-based humor coming from
all I got, baby. Nothing but cows.
Oh, I just had like 5 puns run through my head, and I didn't say any of them. Please clap.
Claire has so much more restraint than I do.
She's tattooing them into the table as we speak.
Anyway, sorry, you were making a real point about news?
No, I mean, that's what the show is. I make a real point about news, and you all make the funnies. And I go, come on, guys, be serious.
I don't disagree, but...
Yeah. I mean, obviously, but yeah. Anyways, so that's where we're at. And you know, obviously, you know, as much as we laugh at Alberta for this, there is, you know, something so sad about you know, because obviously the people who get the most sick are the kids who get it, and they're the ones who have not been vaccinated. And we're living in, you know, that stupid, and it's mostly a right wing meme of like, you know, like strong men create good times creates weak men create hard times, like that. We're living in that meme come to life in the sense of like it's a bunch of parents in their 30s and 40s or 20s even, and who grew up in a world without measles, grew up in a world of herd immunity, and are now wondering and are now going like have bought into this red pill anti-vax bullshit, Robert Kennedy stuff, and are going like, well, if they get measles, it's no big deal. And you know, fortunately, knock on all the wood in the world, no one in Canada has died from this yet. No one in Alberta has died from this yet. People in the States have, but not here yet. There was one child who died, but they also have very other significant complications. So there's no one who's died just of measles yet, I should say. And knock on wood, that does not happen. But it's, you know, it's just one of those things where you just go like, this is why. One of the reasons why when Alberta starts lecturing the rest of Canada, Danielle Smith gets on a podium and starts talking about like how Canada should be more like Alberta and how Alberta's kind of got it all figured out and they're, you know, the economic engine and equalization payments and all that stuff. I just feel the need to roll my eyes so hard because when Quebec starts demanding distinct stuff, I'm like, yeah, well, at least they kind of got like beautiful cities and good dental. And then when Alberta
the whole
starts,
language thing.
Yeah. Well, but they were born with that. But when Alberta starts lecturing the rest of us, I'm like, you have fucking measles. You can't figure out herd immunity in 2025. You don't get to tell me how to live.
I feel like that should just be the de facto retort to anything that Danielle says. Whoever's debating her, just be like, you've got measles. How's the measles going, Danielle?
I mean, I'm sure she's vaccinated. I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Well, she will. I mean, I'm sure she was as a kid, but I'm sure if you asked her point blank about any kind of vaccine, she would be like, "Oh, well, you know, I don't disclose my medical history," because she wants to. Similar with separation, she wants to play both sides.
That doesn't sound like the Danielle Smith I know.
But, you know, don't worry, gang, for those who are worried about all this, and it is worrying, the Smith government is laser focused on the important stuff, namely book bans.
See, they're protecting kids.
While you're ridden with measles, you can't even read some good smut in the hospital room. You know what would pass the time with measles? Reading some nice erotica. I'm just saying. From your school library.
They're replacing Danielle Steele with Danielle Smith.
There you go. No, that was good. I like
right.
Oh my god, that would be such a great thing. You'd like replace all of the female heads on Harlequin romance novels with her face. It would be an excellent like form of nonviolent protest.
But it would also just not, in terms of like the sexiness of the book, that would go away, I would think.
That's okay. She would be so mad.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you know, M is for measles. Anyways, the situation, for those who are unaware, is they have, back in May, I want to say, they banned a bunch of books, or at least 3 or 4, all for sexually explicit themes, which shockingly turned out to be mostly LGBTQ stuff. Who would have seen that coming? It's crazy. But now they've come out further and said no students will be allowed access to what the government calls explicit sexual content, including detailed depictions of masturbation, sexual penetration, or sexual physical content. Now, this, I would argue, is probably like the most reasonable version of a book ban, because it's like, all right, yeah, as a parent, I'm like, would it be weird for my kid to be reading a book about, you know, explicit sexual stuff at like 7 or even like a little bit older? But this is the arguments for book banning always start out super reasonable and super limited, and we're just gonna ban these.
Oh, they always
3
make it
books.
sound like there's a hustler in the school library, and they're finally doing something about it.
And it's also just like, this is what happens, right? And if you take away this education from kids, guess what's going to happen more? And they're going to be more confused about it.
Sexually transmitted measles.
The cow kind.
Yeah, measles and moozles. It'll be terrible.
I mean, they're going to find this stuff on AO3 anyway, right? Like, they're going to find the filth. And instead of it being like a book that has some literary value to it, it's going to be like Sonic the Hedgehog, like finger blasting Megamind. Like, it's not going to be, it's not going to have the added value that a book would have, right?
You had that locked and loaded.
Yeah, I did. I did a quick search before I got to the studio today. But I mean, teenagers are not going to get, they're tenacious and they're horny. They're not going to give up on that. They're going to find it somewhere else. Luke, you look really upset.
No, I'm just in awe of your ability to paint pictures with your words. Because I'm
so
seeing
welcome.
it.
It's a true
And I
gift.
can't not see it. And also, in my head, I'm like, I wonder why it's Sonic finger blasting Megamind instead of the other way, which I would argue anatomically
Is
makes
better?
more sense. Well, it's this more accessible.
Sonic has gloves on. That's like a safe sex thing.
I forgot he has gloves on.
Yeah.
Modeling best
Do you
behavior.
hate safe sex, Luke?
Yeah.
No, it's great.
Turn it on him. Turn it on him.
I don't know how to
Yeah, what kind of sex education did you get, Luke?
I mean, I'll admit my sex education didn't include wear gloves when you're gonna give hand jobs or finger blasts. Is that a thing that we should tell the people to do?
I mean, it's the safest possible, you know.
Sure. I mean, it prevents. Yeah, there's no. Yeah, okay, sure, do it, guys.
You've just changed Luke's entire.
I mean, I wasn't
mind.
diehard on the opposite side of it. I was just like, it's never occurred to me that that'd be a thing you should do.
So does that mean Sonic's gloves are like disposable? Like he just changes them every time?
They're latex.
Oh, I've
Oh,
done
yeah,
that.
like a doctor. Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're latex and inflatable. That's why they're so big. Yeah. Hey, I read it earlier, so it must be true on a website.
So, other than the cartoon pornography that we've entered into, how do you counter the kind of like classic right wing talking point of like, well, why do you want kids to read this? Why do you want this smut to be in schools? Which I think is always the counter.
Yeah, I mean, like, I could be wrong because they have, for the most part, they haven't said, I think they said a couple books that they were like, these are the books that we're banning, but overall, it's just been kind of this vague specter. And I'm like, I wouldn't classify that as smut. It's not smut. Like, it might not be appropriate for 5-year-olds, but then, I you know, and my counter would be, you leave the Bible in schools, and they have acts of like parents being almost forced to eat their kids and stoning women and adultery and killing all of the world with floods. I'm just, I don't know. Pick
Bible's
a lane.
fucking lit, man.
It's lit.
Yeah.
It's lit. There's a
Till
lot
then.
of gross sexual stuff in the Bible.
Yeah, till that lame Jesus introduction, and then everything kind of goes downhill and gets all sappy.
What a buzzkill.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he gets his in the end.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
There's a great third act twist.
And then they close out strong with the Book of Revelations. It's great.
Sure, yeah.
Yes, I've read the Bible. I know what that is. Yeah.
I don't know. I could be wrong, but I don't think the books that they're, I don't see there being a lot of school libraries that have like hardcore pornography.
Well,
in
that's the
them.
thing.
Yeah, there's already discernment there, right?
Yeah.
Like they're not in elementary schools. It's like
No.
high schools probably that have this type of content. And then, you know, if you're talking about LGBTQ books for kids, those aren't going to have sexual themes in them. It's going to be about identity, and it's going to be about, you know, how you relate to other people. It's not
Now, I will say
explicit,
they
right?
did say some
Yeah.
of these books were in elementary schools. However, we're taking them at their word that like when they say it like elementary school kids were reading books that had depictions of masturbation and sexual penetration. Like,
But those things exist.
I don't know. I don't know that they actually did, but like also like we're forgetting, but the Alberta government is kind of forgetting the thing of like you employ someone whose job is to kind of do this,
Yes,
but use like taste and good judgment and not just be a bunch of right wing nut jobs. They're called librarians and they exist, and this is just kind of like
And some of them are real freaks.
well, don't tell them that. Ian.
Yeah, we'll keep that on the DL.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, you were making a real point.
No, that was my real
No,
point.
but I think you're like, even if it's on the slightly younger side, even if it's queer content with sexual stuff, that happens.
Sure.
It's not, I highly doubt it's going to be explicitly graphic.
No.
And it's just like, it happens. Let them, I don't know. Maybe people get mad at me for saying they've got to get exposed to it in some context. And if it's with like, if it's an educational way.
But I think that the counter that you asked for a couple of minutes ago has to be a combination of what you guys just said. You counter them by saying, A, we already have rules against this, so you're creating duplicate red tape just for the sake of having this press conference.
Yep.
And B, you're not getting rid of smut. You are getting rid of nebulous anything that identifies that gay people exist or anything like that. Like you're trying to whip up a panic so that you can cater to the wingnuts in your party, who are the only people who are ever really going to follow up on this policy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
and the parents whose votes you're trying to coerce.
Exactly.
Like scared parents who are like, I don't want little Timmy reading about that. Like that's what you're going for here. It's getting those votes of people who are maybe somewhat, not in your camp, but are like believe that you're preventing their children from reading hardcore porn at at John A. Macdonald Elementary School or whatever. But like, and
where they should be learning about drinking.
Exactly.
And Johnny McDonald's terrible, terrible crimes.
Oh yeah, the war crimes. Oh no.
But like, I mean, if you look at what happened in the States, which obviously this policy is emulating, that it all starts with, as we said, it's a slippery slope. It all starts with we're going to ban, the real smut or the real like stuff that is inappropriate for kids, and then it ends up with like you can't check out, Maya Angelou from any like high school in Alabama or whatever, and it's just like it always starts with the first step is like, oh, it's just straight up porn, and why was those in there for the first place, and it's like. Probably bullshit, but it at least seems somewhat reasonable.
Sure.
Where and terrifying to parents to imagine their kids reading, and then it just goes so far down the road.
Yeah.
And because and that vagueness that you were talking about, Claire, I think is very much by design because it allows for the Karens on the PTA and the people who at the school board to come in, and especially in the more rural communities who will probably be pretty right wing, to come in and start just banning books left and right. Yeah. And then, and just because they might say the word sex in them or something ridiculous, and and it just gets so far down the road. So that's the concern that will happen.
To any of our Patreon supporters who happen to be named Karen, we don't mean you, we mean different Karens. You guys are great.
I think they know. I think they know they've lost that battle with their name.
You'd be surprised.
Like there's Karens being Karen about being called a Karen?
Yeah.
All right. Oh. Well, it's too bad. You know what I mean?
Oh,
if I could put up with 40 years almost of people making Star Wars jokes at me, you can deal with 5 seconds of people calling you a Karen for being a Karen.
Oh no, you keep getting compared to Luke Skywalker. What a hardship.
I just have people pretending to be Silence of the Lambs, Anthony Hopkins, just going, hello, Clarice, through my entire
That's
life.
a stretch.
Yeah, it's like not even actually
Come on,
your
people.
name.
Oh, that's so many times.
All right. Okay. Well, let's talk about the other thing Danielle Smith is doing, which is she is convening Alberta Next panels, which are just asking questions about ways Ottawa can alleviate this terrible separatist movement that Danielle Smith is in no way pushing herself and is absolutely not a part of.
She hasn't even heard of it.
No, man, that's not her.
No.
All of which, all these ideas on how to combat separatism, conveniently, and this is crazy, guys, this is a total coincidence, give Danielle Smith a fuck ton more power.
Oh, I don't believe that.
It's nuts. So she's putting out these videos, like she's convening these panels, and then on her social, she's putting out all these videos where it's like, let me know what you think. I'm just Danielle from Alberta, and we're just having a conversation. And then all the like points made are like, here's why we should do this. And then there's like one point at the end, but like, oh, we don't have to. Anyways, let me know what you think. Like, it's so one-sided. So let's talk about some of the things Danielle Smith is just asking questions about, aka desperately wants to see happen in the 2026 referendum, which is when these are plans. So the first one is constitutional amendments, not just of that deal with Alberta specifically, but of the whole Canadian Constitution, which require obviously the federal government and a lot of other provinces. You need 2/3 majority, I believe, in both the houses of Parliament and then in the provinces. So she wants to give provinces, aka Alberta, obviously, the right to overrule the federal government in areas of shared jurisdiction, like agriculture. She wants the provincial right to opt out of any federal spending measure with compensation paid of equivalent. So, like for like $10 a day daycare, for example, like opt out of that, but then still get the money.
Insane.
She wants.
That's like saying, like, for my birthday, I don't want gifts, just give me the cash.
Yeah. Strict adherence to.
And then you use that cash to buy oil. Sorry.
No problem. Strict adherence to. I promise we will talk about all these. I just want to give a quick background. Strict adherence to representation by population in the House of Commons, which basically boils down to take seats away from Atlantic Canada and give it to Alberta.
Hey, wait.
Sorry, it's not me. Blame Danielle. She's just asking questions. And for provinces to appoint their own judges to the Superior Court and above, which right now is obviously the federal government. these, I would imagine, many of them would be so repellent to the federal government and to, especially with that last one, the rep by Pop, to some of the other provinces. My thought is the idea that when these fail, it just riles up the anti-Ottawa sentiment more, and that just fuels her base more. Is that the goal here?
I gotta hand it to her. We use this, like in politics, you throw this phrase around a lot. That's real 4D chess, I think. Good job, Danielle.
I mean, she's playing with fire with all of the wingnuts in her base, and we all know that what they say about playing with fire, it's awesome, and you should do it all the time. There are no drawbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, like Jason Kenney. Like that's the thing. There have been versions of this panel before, this Alberta Next panel. Like Kenny did one, Ralph Klein did one. It's just a way to like do a fun roadshow where you go around whipping up all this sentiment and be like, and we're not going to do anything about it, but thanks for coming out and getting mad. Please vote for me.
Yeah.
And Kenny eventually called those people lunatics, and they turfed him immediately for it.
Yeah.
So Danielle Smith, way to ride this whale. Whale. No, bull. Way to ride this bull. Well, how did I not get bull from Alberta? Oh my God.
You tripled down too much on the cow.
I did. Yeah.
You got the beef at the end. I just don't. It's not going to happen. Like none of this. They're not going to actually leave. So spoiler alert. I was at the Stampede this year.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I missed the stabbing by a day. Really upset about that.
And you brought your own knife.
Yeah, I know. Really would have made my vacation, but that's okay. I didn't actually go for the Stampede, but I went for a night. And the whole crowd, they played the national anthem twice in 3 hours, and everyone got up, everyone took their yeehaw hat off, and a lot of tears, very, very patriotic place.
For the national anthem.
Both times for O Canada, yes.
Huh.
And the sole purpose of my visit was to go to a Fall Out Boy concert.
I was trying to not interrupt, but I was like, was this for work?
No.
Was
it
amazing?
They're always amazing. Claire, I've seen them dozens of times. They're the best boys in the world.
I've never seen them, and I would absolutely go. They're safe rock and roll.
Are they not playing Toronto, or are you just? Are
They're
you
not? No, not this time. Every other time I've been there, baby, I'm in the crowd. But no, they have an album. American Beauty, American Psycho, 2015 masterpiece in stores now. And so the album cover has the American flag on it, and they flashed it for a second to introduce a song from that album.
Yeah.
Whole place booed. Whole place freaked the fuck out and booed. It was up there for 5 seconds, maybe. So these people are, I'm sorry, Alberta, I'm sorry, Calgary, you guys are not going anywhere. The only other place you can go is to the States.
Yeah.
Or you can become a
little
corporate.
Which is what Danielle wants.
Yeah,
so.
It's not going to happen. She doesn't have the votes.
Yeah.
A regular person is like, hell no. U.S., hell yeah, let's cry for a third time at the national anthem. And they don't have it.
But Danielle's like, sugar, we're going down swinging.
She better take those words out of her mouth right now, or I'm going to go down swinging.
I love to imagine that the guys from Fall Out Boy pause the concert. They're like, wait, our Canadian brothers, bilateral trade is very complicated. Had a very nuanced.
Remember when I was on One Tree Hill? Anyways.
He was on One Tree Hill.
I know.
That's true. Damn. Good show.
Yeah, it's a weird tightrope that she has to walk in terms of that she wants to separate, but she's still.
I don't think she does. I think she wants the votes of people who want to separate and understands that they don't really have anywhere else to go unless they separate from her party. Then she's fucked.
Yeah.
Sorry, I totally interrupt. You were making a legitimate point.
No, that's fine. I just she has to court those voters. She wants all these big changes that she also goes down to Mar-a-Lago for and sucks up to Trump. Oh no, my point of view went out the window.
That's because I interrupted you really hard.
No, that's okay.
We're going down.
Yeah, you guys are
We'll bring it back because I fell out.
There are a lot of people who want to separate, but she has to have those people. But she can't advocate for it because she's still massively popular. So I'm just curious as to how she's inevitably going to try to marry those two things. And I just think just asking questions is.
I mean, I think if you look at her just from a perspective of she's trying to stay popular in Alberta and nothing else from a moral or legal perspective, which is not a great way to analyze someone, but as a politician, maybe it's fair. She's doing great. They're soaring in the polls.
Yep.
Nenshi, even though he just got a seat in Parliament and won that by-election.
Oh, did he? I missed that.
He
Oh,
did.
good.
Yeah, he took a seat this week. He's way behind the polls, so she is currently staying on the ball.
Crushing
She
it.
hasn't gotten the horns yet. Will she stay on the pole for many years to come? big yes. The other things quickly, and then we'll move on from Alberta, is she also wants, as has probably been told, she wants to either end all equalization payments or completely redo the tax code where the provinces collect all the taxes and then like give it out to the federal government. Because right now the federal government collects almost all the taxes and then gives the provincial governments their share of provincial sales tax.
I thought Alberta didn't have taxes.
Well, they do, but very small.
Oh, okay.
And I think so. They don't have sales tax, but they have provincial taxes.
Oh, yes.
So right now Ottawa collects them and then gives it to Alberta.
Right.
And even though I don't think there's any actual allegations that Ottawa's like withholding Alberta's money or whatever, it's just to make it easier. So you only have to file one set of taxes, right?
Yeah.
So Alberta wants to switch that so that you would have to file two sets of taxes, one in Canada, one in Alberta, which is what Quebec does. And I imagine that would be hugely costly to set up that program. You'd have to hire a ton of accountants and auditors for the Alberta version of the CRA, et cetera, et cetera. But like that's one thing they're talking about doing. But it would give them like the power to control the money, even though I don't think there's any allegations that Ottawa's really keeping their money. And then obviously wants to set up the Alberta pension plan instead of the Canadian pension plan. But similar to what we talked about before with, still wants the compensation for it, wants Alberta's share, which they've calculated to be just hundreds of billions of dollars.
Half the CPP,
half the
isn't
CPP.
it? I'm like, well, I have never read something that actually makes sense because they keep throwing out that number, and I'm like, it's just delusional to the point where I think I must be missing something. Like I must be dumb. And how do they justify asking for half the CPP? I just don't get it.
If they don't have that many people and you can only put so much into CPP every year, I really genuinely don't know where that number, there's no way for me to, now I don't do math, nobody pays me to do math, okay? And nobody should, but it still doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense.
I think they're just throwing so many demands out that they're hoping people don't catch that one, and it just squeaks through.
Well, they released a very scientific looking calculation of how they got to that number.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it took mathematicians and economists 2 seconds to be like, oh, you just started at the end and worked backwards, and this is a completely jerry-rigged mathematical formula based on they're using stuff like how much equalization payments they've made and all this stuff that has nothing to do with the CPP, which is obviously on an individual
and
level.
every cow gets CPP, or will get Calgary PP, or Alberta PP.
But yeah, so those are some of the demands. Are there any demands that you think Alberta's making that you would be willing, if you were Mark Carney, if you were the federal government, are there any of their demands that you'd be willing to give them?
I think I'd be a real shit about it. Just be like, all right, Danielle Smith, you can keep 100 cows for every green energy initiative that you make.
I like that. I mean, because she would just be like, we'll kill the cows.
Exactly.
Like she would never do it.
I mean, I will say, as someone from Atlantic Canada, the strict adherence to the population and House of Commons, I get it.
Yeah,
I do get it. I won't pretend that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it would actually benefit Ontario more than Alberta, but it's one of those things where it's like, okay, fine. I mean, yeah, it would be, I think PEI would be down to 2 seats total or something extremely small. You have to have a geographic component to it too, right? It can't be so strict rep by pop that you have one riding that's 300,000 kilometers big.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you do have that with the North, but anyways, outside of the North.
got that.
But there's just a certain amount of there are other considerations. Obviously, you can't cross provincial boundaries. We've decided that. There's other things to factor in. But that was also the one. The other one I would be perfectly happy to give them is let them collect their own provincial taxes because it's one of those things that I think they would regret instantly. They're like, now we famously, who don't like government, have to set up a whole new government bureaucracy, have to duplicate efforts with the federal government that was already doing things, have to hire a bunch of white collar professionals, the people we hate, and add to our government just to collect taxes that were already going into our coffers anyways.
She's gonna have to contact Carney for money advice.
He loves that. It's his favorite thing.
I know.
Yeah.
It's his love language.
That's his Fallout Boy.
It's the most equivalent to a sexual phone call that she'll ever get.
Maybe like Carney a little bit more. You guys a Fallout Boy too? Yeah, we just have so much in common.
I mean, he famously loves punk rock, so I don't know if you remember Down with Webster at the victory party.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Who could forget, really?
Well, let's turn our attention to the scandal that is brewing in the United States right now, which is the Trump-Epstein fallout. We covered a little bit of this last week in the Patreon specific portion of our episode. So if you missed that, feel free to go check that out on our Patreon page. But what I want to cover, not just the news that broke last week, but is the way that this seems to have hit Trump with his base.
Oh, it's amazing.
In a way that nothing else has.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's affected his overall popularity that much, or maybe it has. But the MAGAs, the podcast bros, as we alluded to off top, they are actually turning on him in a way that I thought was impossible because I just thought he was Daddy Trump. They drank the Kool-Aid and nothing could tear them away. Why do you think this is the thing that's pissed them off so much?
I think it's, I mean, this is obviously maybe a bit of a trite way to put it, but I think that they want the Dems to be as evil as Trump has told them
Right.
they are. I think that's it.
I think it's part of that for sure.
Yeah,
I think it's because but I think it's like this is a fun, simple conspiracy theory, and that was the whole thing that motivated those people who voted for Trump.
Yeah.
All they care about is conspiracy shit, and the fact that Trump is not only because Trump could have just ignored it for his entire term. Like if they never brought it up, those guys would have forgotten about it. Yeah. But he's dug in so shitty that now they can't look away from it. And it's. Yeah, I
think to both your points, but especially yours, Claire, that it's so, like the Epstein thing was so emblematic of their worldview, right?
Of course,
it's us versus them. It's it's cons versus liberals, Republicans versus Dems. Good traditional American family values versus polyamorous gay pedophiles, exactly, who are in Hollywood and the woke elite and all that. Like this, it's a conspiracy theory that fits so perfectly into what they believed, anyways, that it was impossible to not feel it for them. It was impossible to not be one of the things that, even though it was, like you said, just something that was like this absurd conspiracy theory to a lot of ways, it fits so perfectly with their worldview that it made too much sense to them. So now having to think either we've been lied to this whole time, or and related to that, is Trump hiding something himself because we still believe the conspiracy theory is, but again, it's remarkable because Trump has had such a hold on these guys for so long, for 9-10 years now, that it's crazy to see some of the people who are criticizing him now are like people who I'm like, they would have licked Trump's boots any day of the week if he asked them to, literally.
They're still on True Social calling him sir.
They're
like, it's a bunch of people just being like, why have you stopped talking about this? I mean, please, sir, please, you have to. Blah, 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 blah. And I mean, like, you know what? I'll take it. I'll take the little bit of resistance, but it's still very obsequious.
Oh my God.
Yikes.
Well, speaking of like the Danielle Smith thing, the playing with fire, it's that because Trump, who cares about nothing, had no problem talking about this for all these years because he was like, I don't give a shit. I'll say anything anytime. Epstein, he's a terrible guy, and it's all the Democrats doing it. And every grifter on down from him in the pyramid scheme that is the conservative universe also made a lot, like Dan Bongino, that guy he's what, the assistant?
Deputy director of the FBI.
Who hasn't been seen since last Friday.
Oh, he took a mental health day on Friday.
Oh, yeah, we just haven't seen him.
Which, in fairness, if there's a human being who needs a mental health day, it's Dan fucking Bongino.
Yeah. Did you see Trump got asked about Dan Bongino disappearing?
What did he say?
And Trump was and they were like, is he still, I think it's deputy, I could be wrong. Is he still a deputy FBI director? And Trump just went, I think so.
Oh my God.
For those who don't, I mean, this is some inside conservative MAGA sphere, but like he is got to be top 3 biggest lunatic in that movement, which is saying something.
He was one of the biggest conservative grifters on Facebook for a long time. And I think he has a podcast, right?
Probably.
I think so,
we should have him on.
Conspiracy talk with Dan Bongino.
But like all of the Cash Patels, all Christine Gnomes, all of them just pure conspiracy theorists, and it was too convenient for them to not latch onto this Epstein thing for years because, again, it's so simple. It's such a clean story about terrible things. And now it's just biting them in the ass because it's like, well, if it's so simple, then why can't you talk more about it? And for Trump to, instead of being like, there's reasons, it's complicated, trust me, the deep state, blah, 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 he's like, fuck you for asking me about this.
Pam Bond is just like waving her hand Star Wars style, just being like, there was no list. You forget about the list.
Yeah, I mean, and it has worked for some. There already are some people like your Charlie Kirk.
Oh yeah, who clearly got a talking to.
Oh, he got a phone call from Trump.
Like just being like, you know what? I'm not going to talk about Epstein anymore. I trust my government. This is a guy who spent 4 years of the Biden administration being like, your government is lying to you. They want to give you AIDS through the COVID vaccine. Don't believe a word your government says. And now it's like, but I trust my government. Like that's a line. The weird thing about it is, even though they've been building this conspiracy theory world where you should never trust anything the president says if it's not a member of your party, and et cetera, is like that argument, that line of defense of like, shut up, don't ask questions. The grown-ups are talking. Why are you still asking questions about this? I'm here to announce tariffs or whatever.
Sure.
Is a line of argument that would have worked, I think, in the 50s, 60s, where it's just like, it's just kind of like, obviously they wouldn't have said it that like straight to camera, but it was just kind of an attitude of like, we're the government, we're in charge, you don't need to know, so don't worry about it. Is such a Cold War era line of like defense of a government conspiracy theory, like the Kennedy shooting. Like, don't worry about it. We put out a report. It's there. It's done.
And
move
there was
on.
no social media.
Yeah,
So.
but I just don't know why they think in this world that they've built, where it's like don't trust anything, question everything. Social media conspiracy theories. They think that line of defense has any chance of working.
I mean, I guess if it's just like if they don't release the list, I mean, what are the regular people going to do? He's already voted in.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have to do anything.
I think he's confident that they will forget about it, that they're dumb enough to forget about this pretty fast.
Yep.
And that's what he's banking on.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, his velocity is crazy in terms of news stories. It's very possible. What blows my mind is he's been photographed with Epstein, and he's in every video with it. He's like, there's so much, and they're like, but he's not on the list. Well, of course he's on the list. Why is he just at the party?
There is no list, Megan. There's no list. Trust the government.
You got to do the wave. It doesn't work without the
There's
wave.
no list. This is not the list you're looking for.
Yeah, but I mean, like Epstein literally said, like Trump is my best friend at some point, like back in the 90s when they were really tight.
It's just.
I didn't know he said that.
And
Yeah.
Trump's just going around throwing smoke bombs that are about tariffs that are like, I don't know, tariffs.
There was also the PM of Israel, former PM, I should say, not Netanyahu, came out today and was like, there's a lot of rumors going around about Epstein being Mossad just because he was obviously Mossad. But anyways, he wasn't Mossad. I've seen the files. And it's like, first of all, why do you have files on someone who wasn't Mossad? Why do you have files on a different country's citizen? Like, it wasn't like he was
they have
like,
files on everyone that's not Mossad. They have files on the four of us not being Mossad.
Bold of you to assume that nobody was doing this.
Statistically, it's one of the four of us. I know, yeah.
But I mean, that was so funny. It's just like, I've seen all these files on Jeffrey Epstein that clearly prove he had nothing to do with Israel. The dozens and dozens of files we have from Jeffrey Epstein that prove he's not an Israel agent.
I did hear one, again, conspiracy theory angle of this, which is the idea that it's like, yes, Epstein obviously did terrible things. He's a bad guy, and there are clearly powerful men involved with him. But it was the fact that he was a Mossad agent who got all of this compromising material on so many people that it's like such an intelligence failure embarrassment for the United States that that's a big part of why they never want to pry that open.
Yeah.
That's a rationalization I heard that makes sense to me. I don't know if it's real. Probably a conspiracy theory.
Intelligence agencies have done that in the past. The UK, they famously covered up the Cambridge 5 scandal because they were so embarrassed about it that they didn't want the U.S. or anyone to know about it until like Thatcher just stood up in comments one day and was like naming names, and people were like, fuck. But yeah, like they covered that up for years. Like, it is a thing that has been done. Was it done with Epstein to cover up his intelligence connections or the breaches that happened? I have no idea, of course, and neither does anyone except for the Mossad agency that ran him.
You know what I read today that made me kind of sad, and he's dropped these little hints every so often that I don't think he's maybe a great person, but Stephen King posted online today being like, yeah, guys, there's totally an Epstein list. Side note, the Tooth Fairy and Santa exist. And everyone's like, what are you saying?
I mean, this is technically an ending, which means Stephen King is bad at it. So
Ooh, got him.
It was just so random. I was like, why are you... Is this just a self-incrimination? It was just very strange.
Look, if I want to hear Stephen King's opinions on creepy, weird sex things, I'll just read that one chapter in It.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know that one that they leave out of every adaptation for good reason?
Yeah. Don't look
I mean,
at
I
it.
think we should...
No, we don't. We don't need to go into it.
No, we don't.
Yeah, but... Okay, last question on Trump, which is, obviously he announced 35% tariffs on Canada if the negotiations don't succeed.
Sure.
Claire already alluded to the fact that this is probably just yet another way he distracts from one news story with a bunch of other news stories and everything like that. But I also noticed that, his tariffs announcements, and I know he didn't, they're not coming in right away. They used to, the market would crash and it would be like a weeks-long conversation. Now it's like the market dips a bit and then comes back. Do we think this is just him wearing us down with the constant announcements and wearing down the market really more than anything, which is one of the few things he cares about? Is there actual strategy here, or is it just Trump being Trump?
Oh, I think the market has finally caught on to the fact that Trump's tariff announcements are ends in and of themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
He's not going to do the tariffs. It's so that he can go out that day and own the news cycle by saying, I'm a tough boy who's putting tariffs on a country that can't do anything about it. And that's it. And then he wins that day, and then he unwinds it later because he doesn't actually give a shit about it. And the markets are starting to realize, like, oh, none of these are anything. So just hunker down for the long term.
It's like the boy who cried wolf. Eventually, you're going to be like, the wolf should just eat you, actually.
Yeah.
I'm sick of hearing this boy. You know what I mean?
Boy.
I'm sick of this boy.
That's what it's the same messaging over and over again, and nothing ever happens in a substantive, long-term way.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, there are tariffs in place. We should be like,
Yes,
he hasn't backed down on every tariff in every country. There are tariffs in Canada. There are tariffs on Europe. There are tariffs on, I think, Korea and Japan currently. And Brazil for a while had 50% tariffs, and then that's been unwound. Like, don't get me wrong, he has absolutely backed down 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
My question is, like, is he doing it so much that, like, we don't even notice the 1 time out of 10 he actually kind of keeps them in place?
Oh, no. I've lost track.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, yeah, it's just like if you bombard people with enough things enough, we can't pay attention to all of it. You just can't.
Like, I do think it's chaotic enough. Like, he doesn't care fundamentally about these. So I'm sure some, like that Penguin Island, is probably getting tariffed to shit, and we forgot about it.
sorry, Penguin Islands.
And those
whose
penguins
name we
were
definitely
not going to forget about that.
No, not at all. Penguins have great memories.
They will have their revenge.
Those cool tuxedos they're in.
March of the Penguins too. March on Washington.
The Million Penguin March.
No kings except for emperor penguins.
Outstanding. Love it.
Phenomenal. Well, before we move on to our big closer, I do want to take a second to say thank you so much to our listeners for listening, and we really appreciate it. If you would be so kind, could you hop on the app you're using to listen to us, leave a review, leave 5 stars. Shout out to on Apple Podcast, Rutabaga75, who gave us 5 stars, despite the fact that they are an Oilers fan and are very mad at me about all the things I've said about the Oilers. Thank you, Rutabaga75, and I hope you continue to listen even after the Leafs sign Connor McDavid next year. Anyways, also, if you've already done that, or if you're looking for other ways you can help us out, tell a friend, share our clips on social, talk us up on, when people are looking for good podcasts, mention our name. If you are so inclined to support us monetarily, you can do that at patreon.com/thebeaverton. You're not just supporting the podcast, you're supporting the whole Beaverton brand, all of our writers. You're what will allow us to keep the website going for years and years to come, and the podcast going until we disappear for another 6 years, which isn't going to happen, but if we do, great bit. But anyways, and if you are a Patreon member listening to this, thank you so much. Oh, I should mention, if you're wondering, on the Patreon version of the episodes, you get extra content, usually about 10 to 20 minutes more content of each episode, where we talk about stories that we didn't cover on the regular episode. This week we covered the AI Nazi button that Twitter pushed this week, and the wider implications of what AI is doing to our world. So if you would like to hear about that, check us out on the Patreon page. And for the Patreon members, thank you so much for subscribing to us. Thank you so much for joining. You're the reason we get to keep doing this podcast, get to keep making the website. We love you. Thank you very much. And now it is time for the approximately 10-minute long quiz.
It's the approximately 10-minute long quiz, brought to you by Time.
Every week I put our panel to the approximately 10-minute long quiz, where I quiz them on some less widely known news stories that came out this week. So panel, our first question: Colorado state troopers say their police precinct is currently being terrorized by what Canadian creature?
Jordan Peterson?
Hey!
I think I know the answer, so I'll go last.
Oh, it's my main man, Ogopogo.
What is Ogopogo? I do not know this.
Oh, it's Canada's answer to the Loch Ness Monster.
Oh, okay.
Except it lives in BC and presumably votes NDP.
Not green?
It has strong feelings about UBI.
Yeah. He's really laid back. He does slacklining.
Okay. It was not Ogopogo or Jordan Peterson, although I would love to see Jordan Peterson just running around a police precinct being like getting real emotional about stuff. You don't understand the tragedy of young men.
Oh no, that's good.
What do you mean by police?
Yeah.
Up yours, woke moralists, etc.
Does anyone know the real answer?
Well, I was going to say Ogopogo, but I'm going to change my answer really quickly to geese, like a goose.
Canada Goose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that's not a surprise for anyone who's encountered them anywhere.
Like one?
One Canada Goose, which they have named Lucy, short for Lucifer, which
Awesome.
just hangs out outside their, obviously they don't let it in, hangs out outside their precinct, just loves shitting on cars, police cars specifically,
Geese love
obviously.
that.
And so she just sits on police cruisers all day, shits on their cars, and then if anyone tries to come and get her off there, she goes nuts and attacks them and beaks them.
Lucy
and
says, fuck the police.
yeah, exactly. It's weird when she honks. It sounds like ACAB, yeah. But like, yeah. And I love that this is the one creature that they won't do police brutality on. Like, it's like, all right, we could just get a baton and hit this thing, but I mean, it's a bird, not a human being. So yeah,
I just love that Lucy's fighting the trade war for us.
yeah. We should find a way to weaponize the migrant path of Canada geese over here. But yes, point for Megan on that one. It is a Canada goose. Next question. What Hail Mary legal measure is Freedom Convoy leader James Bowder deploying to try to avoid a likely jail sentence?
Honking a truck horn so loud no one can hear his sentencing. Yeah, they can't sentence him, can't hear it.
Yeah. Quick story. We were at the cottage a couple weeks ago, as you know, Ian was hosting the podcast, and we passed by like a massive like Canada Coast Guard boat. And so Hudson and Hudson was like waving at the guy, and he just wanted like the guy to wave him, but the captain of the boat thought Hudson wanted him to honk, so he did the honk, and it was the loudest honk I've ever seen. And my 7-year-old kid was just like and fell backwards, and you could just see the captain be like, "Oh shit!"
Fantastic.
So honking so loud, yep.
I think his Hail Mary plan is that he is going to start a bigger convoy because you can't get convicted of the same crime twice.
Yeah.
That's called double jeopardy, Luke.
And if Ashley Judd taught me anything, it's that is a real thing.
And
so
definitely how it
smart.
works.
I'm just going to say he's moving to Argentina.
Ooh, you're in the right track, but Argentina is not his country of choice. He has declared for political asylum in the United States on the basis that he's being persecuted for his political beliefs.
If there's one thing this administration loves, it is people claiming political asylum. He's a shoo-in.
Oh, yeah.
But see, that's the thing. It's like there's two contrary movements at force here, right? Because you have like the Trump administration hates refugees, hate political asylum claims, or hate asylum claims at all. And then you have the fact that he's so naturally a Republican sob story, along with like the January 6ers of like, I've been prosecuted and you got to save me, Big Daddy Trump. And if he just gets on Newsmax or Fox News, it could actually work. So I don't know. It might actually work. But I agree, it's hilarious to be like, hey, it's 2025. You know what'll succeed? Asylum claims, the United States right now.
Yeah. I mean, he might not get sent to El Salvador. He might just go to Alligator Alcatraz.
Yeah. That's the kind of week it's been where Ian and I were texting about what stories to cover. And I was like, well, we could do the concentration camp thing. And Ian had to be like, which one? Because there's one in Florida and there's one in Gaza now. But yeah, so that's the kind of week it's been. But yeah, anyways, no points on that one. Speaking of the United States, months ago when the LA fires were doing terrible damage, Canada, as probably everyone knows, sent down equipment, firefighters. There are our famous seaplanes that scoop up water and drop them on the fires. Now that we're having wildfires here, how have several GOP congressmen and women repaid the favor with their own aid to Canada?
They finally released our Canadian firefighters.
They've been in a nice detention facility.
Yeah. They've released them to El Salvador, but they released them, and they're keeping the equipment.
Yeah, nothing like El Salvador in July.
Yeah.
Any other guesses?
I mean, nothing. I feel like if we wanted help from like a small army of, shit-eating little elves, we could have called the Labubu's, and they would have actually helped us, Got him. I had to get Labubu in the podcast once. I promised I would.
I'm nodding like I know what that is.
Oh, well,
Same.
It's you'll see.
I've avoided it.
You'll all see. I brought one today. We'll look at it afterwards.
All right. So, all right.
I was thinking about a joke response, but I actually know. They were just bitching about it on social media.
No, they sent a, well, you get the point. They sent a formal letter to our ambassador accusing us of mismanaging and ruining their summer. Yes. Yeah. So they, instead of helping in any way, they sent a letter to the ambassador being like, your smoke is coming across the Great Lakes and ruining the famous Michigan summers or whatever the fuck, and Wisconsin summers, wherever, and accusing them. And you remember years ago, Trump 1.0, when there was a bunch of forest fires in California, and he accused Gavin Newsom and the people of not cleaning the floors of the forest,
raking the
They weren't raking the floors, they weren't cleaning the floors. So they've essentially brought that back. They're like, these forest fires, which as we all know are not caused by climate change, but are caused by your poor forest management, are ruining our great barbecue season or whatever.
Has raking a forest ever been a thing that's existed in the world?
There was some report on it that's like a thing that you can do that Trump half read and then regurgitated 6 months later and got all the details wrong.
Right.
But you can if you got rid of the think about forest there's in Canada and think about how much work it would be to go along and clean the entire forest floor of burnable things like twigs and branches and moss and everything else. We would have to hire every unemployed college student in Canada.
Every man, woman, child, and labubu.
Yeah. Okay. This is. You can't introduce a runner in the last 3 minutes of the podcast.
She's gonna do it. If there's one person here who can pull it off, it's you.
So yes, point to Clare on that one. And to these GOP Congress people, I would just say, next time you guys need somewhere to land a bunch of planes or rescue some embassy workers, ask Russia, you motherfuckers. Anyways, our next question is Price is Right rules, aka closes without going over. And usually I ask about a truly horrible story with this game, but this one's actually a very fun story. How many people did a hero dog in the Himalayas save this week by barking to warn them?
I think it's a trick question. I think the answer is 0 because his barking actually caused the avalanche.
Oh no, I had negative
was
8
an
for
avalanche.
the same reason. He killed 8 people because he caused the avalanche.
Oh my God!
Yes.
Parallel thinking.
I would never besmirch dogs, okay? Jordan Peterson, Calgarians, Edmonton fans,
We
sure.
don't know if they were good people.
I think he got 3 people out of there, but they were all people that had frozen on the way up to Everest. So it was kind of a wash.
Oh, Jesus.
So
There's bodies
so 0,
all over Everest
Yeah, there
for
are.
people who didn't make
true.
it.
So 0, -8, and 3 corpses.
Sure.
All right, so let me figure out how I'm gonna. Are corpses more than 0?
Where's your Price is Right rules now?
I'm gonna give it to Ian because I'm gonna say that 3 corpses count as 1 human. So 1.
That's a good exchange rate.
It was a classic Price is Right answer. But usually you're going because you're trying to go for the lowest number. In this case, 1 is the highest guess, and that wins because he saved 67 people.
What?
Explain.
There was a massive landslide about to wipe out an entire village until a 5-month-old dog, we didn't get the breed, at 1 a.m. started barking like crazy and woke enough people up that they were like, oh shit, and they presumably realized what was happening, and they all got out of there. And so 67 people in this village were saved. So in a world full of good boys, we found the best one. So that's all it is. See, I bring some good news. Where's Niall when you need him? But yeah, so
Either that or the dog was like, go, Avalanche, go. They don't feed me enough treats. Go, go, go.
I always forget this is a table of cat people.
I have a dog.
Sorry.
Your dog is adorable.
Thank you. Thank you.
And yet you guessed -8.
Well, look, if my dog is barking in the middle of the night, I would have died in that landslide for sure. She is so cute and so yappy. There's no way.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Well, each have a point, which means this is the tiebreaker. Our last question is complete the headline. I'm going to read a headline, missing some words. You fill it in. BC furniture store ordered to pay damages to couple whose couch cushions, need
Steam cleaning after a visit from J.D. Vance.
Ooh.
Nice. Solid. Nice.
They need to be emptied of their secret cocaine stash.
I mean, it's your own house. You can just probably keep it on the coffee table.
Well, I assume that they bought the couch and then realized that it used to be used for drug smuggling.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't follow. My bad. Yeah.
So they had to get all the snakes taken out of it because they stuffed it with snakes instead of couch goo or whatever they put in there.
Wait, couch goo?
Get a whole thing of couch goo.
What are
and
your
just put it in
couches
there.
made of?
It's very it's squishy. It's comfortable.
Well, I'm going to say, as much as you are not on the right track about the snakes, it does have something to do with what they put inside the couch.
Did they put labubus in there?
God damn it.
3 got him. 3. That's a buzzer
Does
beater.
anyone want to guess the issue with what was stuffed inside the couch?
I already guessed.
The
so.
hero dog.
All right. Well,
All the corpses he got out.
all right. I guess we're not breaking this tie. The answer is BC Furniture Store ordered to pay damages to couple whose couch cushions need, quote, constant fluffing. Which is ridiculous. But here's the story. Here's the backstory. A British Columbia furniture store, let me find the name, Muse and Merchant, was ordered to pay $500 in damages to a couple who bought a sofa without knowing it was stuffed with feathers. After a provincial court judge heard evidence, the couple was not prepared, this is a quote now, not prepared to continually fluff the cushions.
Oh my.
The worst
So
was when
the
they hired a fluffer for the couch,
Yeah.
and it just got worse.
Yeah, there was no like sense of whimsy without the term fluffer in the article I read. I kept waiting for it. The Dobko couple filed the claim because they purchased a sofa and 2 ottomans in November 2023. Several months later, they went back to the store to complain the cushions were deflating after they sat on them for an hour or two. The store manager told them, well, of course they are. They're feather-filled, and so therefore need regular maintenance by fluffing the cushions. The couple wanted a refund of $5,608 because they didn't want to have to fluff the cushions. And
Their couch was $5,000?
yeah, and the ottomans collectively, and the couch store refused, but did offer to show them proper couch maintenance.
No, couch fluffing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which honestly, I'm kind of on the couple's side because one, they only got $500. 2, okay, so I, as everyone knows because I've whinged about it so much, I have suffered a back injury this spring, so I can't sit at my desk right now. I can't sit in my office chair. So I'm working from the couch all day, every day. So I'm sitting on a couch, I don't know, 10, 12 hours a day probably, between like working during the day and working at night. If I had to get up every 30 minutes to fluff the cushions or else it was deflating, I would find that very annoying.
okay, not to go full wire cutter on Maine, but like, who the hell is going out there just buying a couch? I mean, like, I like that one. You're not like doing thousands of hours of research for like, couches are expensive.
These people had $5,000 to drop on a couch. They probably didn't give a shit.
I
Yeah.
can't.
That one.
Do your research.
Have the servant buy it.
It's great that they went through all this trouble of starting a lawsuit, spending thousands of dollars in court costs, probably. I mean, I assume this was a small claims court, but even still. And then all over, they could probably resell it and get $500
Yeah,
easily.
seriously.
Yeah.
No, but even if they are the richest people alive, if you're that rich, how can your ass not detect down? Like, it's very obvious. If you're that bougie and you're around feathers all the time, because we know how rich people live, how can you not tell?
They have terrible taste. Rich people famously have terrible taste.
Yeah, I guess. Anyway.
Yeah,
it's fine.
no, that's the situation. So they walked away with $500 and certainly no level of internet embarrassment. So congratulations to Donna and Thomas Dobko for their $500 award.
Straight up doxing them.
Oh, wow. All right.
I'm just reading from an article.
Google it next time, Donna. Do better.
And that concludes our quiz. We have a 1-to-1-to-1 tie, which means none of you get to plug anything. Too bad, so sad. But you know where to find our panelists. While you're doing that.
Oh, come on. Come on.
actually doing it.
This is what you don't get it. I'm sticking to this.
Fine.
I'm sticking to this.
Further to just return to an earlier point, Sonic doesn't have any holes, so he has to be the top. Is that what you wanted? That's what you want to end the podcast on?
We don't know. We don't know he doesn't have holes. They never show.
He can blow his hands up to whatever size you want.
And on that note, follow the Beaverton, listen, share our social media stuff, follow our panelists. You know where they are. And thank you very much for listening. Have a great week.
The Beaverton Weekly Report is produced by Andrew Rivamy in partnership with the From Superheroes Network. Visit FromSuperheroes.com to hear more great podcasts like this.